Hey everyone, Andy here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to tell you a little story about U.S. history. This story is about a plane called the U2, built by the Lockheed Skunk Works, and this was an event that happened during the Cold War, and the U2 spy plane used by the United States became operational in 1956 and was used during the Cold War. And at this time, between 1956 and a little bit, like the first couple months of 1962, the U-2 could fly higher than any known aircraft in existence at that time. It could fly at an altitude of 70,000 feet. And flying at 70,000 feet, the U-2 could do reconnaissance over the Soviet Union. For example, like when the United States was worried that the Soviet Union might be gathering a bomber fleet or might be gathering forces for an attack on Western Europe or whatever else it might be up to, one way to prepare for an event, like say the Soviet Union would be preparing for just whatever, to find out what was happening, say fly over them. And the thing is the U-2 pilots were able to fly over the Soviet Union, and from 1956 to 1960, they gathered a whole lot of data to assess the Soviet threat. But the thing is the U-2 could still be visible on radar, even while flying at 70,000 feet. And the U-2, as it was flying over the Soviet Union, Soviet fighters were trying to take off and try and shoot it down, but the U-2 was out of their reach. So the Soviet Union, they knew that we were there, but they were just very frustrated on not being able to reach us with airplanes. And the long, wide, straight wings of the U-2 gave the plane glider-like characteristics, and it would fly so high above the ground that even if the Soviet military did detect it, they couldn't reach it with fighters or missiles. And at first, this was true, until May 1st, 1960, when U-2 pilot Francis Gary Powers was shot down by Soviet missiles as he took photos from 67,000 feet. The Soviet Union had made missiles that were able to reach the U-2. And I think the missile that shot the U-2 down actually exploded just before hitting the airplane. But then eventually the plane started to fall down. The wings broke off, and luckily Powers safely ejected, but he was captured by Soviet troops. And the Soviets put him on trial, and Gary Powers was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but he was released in 1962 because somebody actually took his place for some reason. So for example, if Gary Powers goes out of jail, somebody who goes into jail kind of takes his place. And from the Soviet Union, this guy named Khrushchev basically found out about this incident, and at that time, U.S. President Eisenhower actually said to Khrushchev that this U-2 was used by NASA and it was just getting some high-altitude photos for NASA. But Khrushchev found out about the incident, and they actually got the photos that the U-2 was taking from high altitude of them. And Khrushchev also found out that this plane was indeed used for reconnaissance. They basically gathered some parts from the U-2, and they confirmed that it was indeed for reconnaissance. So Khrushchev found out about this and demanded an apology because Eisenhower had lied to him. But Eisenhower refused to apologize. And this definitely strained U.S. and Soviet relations. There was actually a meeting later that month in May of 1960. Khrushchev and Eisenhower were going to go to this meeting, as well as somebody from France and somebody from the UK. While Eisenhower was there, Khrushchev like, didn't stay the whole meeting. I don't know for sure, but he may have left either before the meeting had ended or even after. Like, he refused to participate in the whole meeting. Khrushchev did. So Khrushchev refused to participate in the whole meeting, and it was just really something. And today, when it comes, but the amazing thing, going back to the U2, is the U2 is still used today. And the thing is high altitude projects today are done mainly by satellites, but an updated version of the U2 has helped the U.S. Air Force out in like surveillance over countries like Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And it's also being used for high altitude projects by NASA and other civilian agencies. Like, we do Earth's sciences. NASA has done it for many, many years, and it requires flying pretty high up over like forests, deserts, and even into the Arctic. And we basically just fly maybe a different variant of the U2, but we have two of them, and we just fly them worldwide on various missions of those kinds. But the thing is, as effective as the U2 had been, it wasn't enough to meet the reconnaissance needs at the height of the Cold War for the United States. But once again, the Lockheed Skunk Works, led by the legendary Kelly Johnson, were tapped to come up with something better. And in 1962, they did. That's when they made this aircraft known as the A-12. And the A-12 would eventually lead to the SR-71 Blackbird, one of the most amazing jet planes ever built. And I did a video. I'll probably do a comparison video between the A-12 and the SR-71 in a future video, but anyway, that's sort of the whole U2 incident. And going back to like the meeting between like France, the UK, Eisenhower, and Khrushchev, this would eventually lead to the Berlin Walls that, that divides like East and West Berlin at that time. It's a little brutal. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the U2 incident of 1960. And the thing is man and machine have gone a very long way, and the U2 still flying around today. Who knows what missions it could be operating in the future? Who knows? But anyway, guys, I just wanted to let you know about this. This could be a little refresher because I actually did a video on the U2 a few years ago. I'll try and put a video to that in the. I'll try and put a link to the video to that in the description of this video. And I also may have done a video on the SR-71. But if I haven't, I'll for sure do one of those in the future and maybe compare the A-12 to it. But anyway, guys, I think as for now, this is probably, this is where I'm going to leave off. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please do on your way out. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. And be sure to click the notification bell as well, so you don't miss out on a single video I do. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this, like I said. And as always, stay tuned for more videos. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy travels.